Welcome back to our video series on making the Maze GUI class or Maze GUI program. So in our last video, we completed the Maze frame class. So make sure that you've committed those changes, given an appropriate message. Today we're going to go ahead and create what's called a panel. Now, I found this website. It's on Finnish, as in Finland, university website, but it talks about what makes up a Java GUI application or a Java Swing application. And we can see that the top level container is called the frame. And inside the frame, we have something called a panel. And really the purpose of the panel is just to kind of organize things. So our frame, we've already said, is going to have this border layout, which we saw has kind of like a traditional application. You have a top bar, a bottom bar, a left and a right. So the idea is we can put different panels into those different parts of the application to get it to do what we want. So right now we have a button at the south. We're going to make a panel class today. We're in a subclass panel rather, and then in that particular panel, at least for now, we're going to get the maze itself to show up there. So the purpose for this video today is just to get the initial kind of the starting bit of our JPanel subclass. And so let's go ahead and take a look at we got our code. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new class. I'm going to call it the MazePanel. And so it's your public class MazePanel, and it's going to extend JPanel. Okay. Now, one thing I've noticed is if this pops up and I press enter while this is up, it automatically imports what I want. So that's a little bit of a time saver. Now it is giving me, let's see, does it give me a warning? It does not give me a warning. That's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and make a constructor here for our JPanel. Now, because this is a maze panel, then the constructor for our MazePanel class is actually going to take in a maze, because this panel is going to take care of the actual display of the maze. So it's going to need to know what the heck a maze is. Now what this means is that we're going to need some instance variables here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a private instance variable maze, which is just the maze itself. This panel is going to need to know how many rows and how many columns there are in our maze. Now we have our maze here. We could do like maze.getWidth and getHeight and things like that. But just to keep things kind of organized, I'm just going to go ahead and make some instance variables here and say num rows and a private integer num calls. And that'll be it for now. We're gonna have to add some more stuff to get it to show up, but that'll be it for right now. And then so in our constructor here, we're just gonna do we're gonna go ahead and say this.maze equals maze. All right. And then we'll say num rows equals maze dot, and so the number of rows will be the height of our maze, and then num calls maze dot get width of our maze. Okay, so that's that. Now on our JPanel, we're actually going to be drawing some things. We need some more things, I suppose, here. So we need to say our preferred width and height of our panel. So for right now, we're just going to say set preferred size, and again we'll make a new dimension. And for right now, this will be kind of what we have to figure out a little bit later. I'm just gonna I know my JPanel is 800 by 600 by default, so I'm gonna make this let's say 700 by I don't know, 500. Cool. And again, it doesn't know what a dimension is, so we're going to have to import that. It may, let's see here, can I do a quick fix? Yep, there we go. Cool. All right, so we got our dimension. Let's see here. That might be all we need for this right now. Again, we'll do something a little bit later. So yeah, let's go ahead and I'm going to save that. I'm not seeing any errors. I'm going to ignore this warning again. So back into my maze frame now, we need to add our panel into our frame. So basically, we're going to go ahead and make a new maze panel. Now, a couple of things here. I'm going to go ahead and make some private instance variables. So I'm just going to go say private maze panel. I'm going to call it maze panel. And then private J button. We'll call this the solve button. That's actually what we're going to have on there, right? And so now what we're going to do here is, instead of saying, button here, I'm going to say solve button equals new J button, and this is actually going to be solve. And that'll be the words that show up there. And then likewise here, solve button dot add action listener. Okay, and then we want to add solve button. Okay. Now the other thing we need to give our maze panel. We need to create that guy. So we'll go ahead and do a what is this? Maze panel equals new maze panel. And remember, the constructor is actually expecting a maze. So I'm just going to go ahead and say a new maze. And recall that we can give it a file name if we want. And so I already have a file name called maze.txt. I believe that's the one I want. Let me check. Maze.txt. Yep, that's the one I want. Actually, that's a really big one, isn't it? I think for now we'll just go ahead and have it initialized to a blank, a random one. So we'll go ahead and just say maze. If we give it 2 integers, we should get a 10 by 10 maze that's randomized. So after we make our maze panel, we need to add that to our frame. So I'll just say add maze panel. And then I'm going to say border layout, and I want this to be in the center. So I'm going to have it be right there in the center. Border layout. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and compile. And then we will go ahead and run the maze GUI. All right, now of course we can't see anything here yet because, well, we didn't tell it to our maze panel to actually do anything. But that's, let's see here. I think that'll be it for this particular video for right now. We have our maze panel started. We'll get it actually doing stuff in our next video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.